Studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Wingstop. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson. Ah, yeah!
Good morning. Happy Friday. This is the Captain, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. As you can tell, no Vershawn Jackson today. VJ is out today. He's out all next week. Getting a much-needed vacation is the Captain. However, Nick Sanders still with you. Happy Friday. We made it to the weekend. It was a short week for a lot of us. But happy Friday. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Both those will be open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those good places. You can always hit me up, Nick_Sainer. You guys kind of know how this works. Rico will pop in every now and then. We might have a special guest drop by throughout the course of the 3 hours today. But you guys know how to get in touch with the show. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Although it is July 8th, we still have news. We still have plenty of stuff to get to. Just kind of run through the show really quickly. So right off the top, last night I was thinking to myself, I wonder, we always say Nebraska football doesn't use their running backs, right? And it's kind of just a blanket statement because you look at Nebraska's rushing totals and throughout the game, and last year it was a lot of Adrian Martinez or the quarterback, right? Because even in the game against Iowa, Logan Smothers ran the ball a lot, right? But we always just use this blanket statement that Nebraska doesn't use their running backs. Now, obviously, they've put in changes. Brian Applewhite, the biggest one. They've added a lot of new guys to the roster. They've also lost a couple guys to the transfer portal, Sevion Morrison, Marvin Scott, those two. And we don't really know what the offense is going to look like this year. So what I decided to do last night was kind of create a spreadsheet-like thing, where I went and looked at the other teams in the Big Ten West, primarily Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota, took away the quarterback rushing totals because, right, we want to move on with this thing without Adrian Martinez, right? We want to see what Nebraska looks like without Adrian Martinez. That's such a big question going into this year. What's it look like without the quarterback that's been here 4 years? What's it look like? What's it going to look like with Mark Whipple in charge of the offense? What's it going to look like in the running back room, specifically with Brian Applewhite in charge rather than Ryan Held? And I went through thinking, because we always use this blanket statement of Nebraska doesn't run the ball with their running backs really well. And I went through because I was like, you know what? We've never actually looked at this thing without Adrian Martinez as a part of it. And the results might shock you because they startled me a little bit. And I was talking to Sip this morning, actually, when he got done with early break, and I was telling him what I found and everything, and he said it actually is more of a bigger indictment on Scott Frost. Is it good? Is it bad? I'll let you guys decide. I want to hear from you guys all throughout the show. 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Both those will be open for you guys. Sounds like the Thickless nickname. I don't know, Rico, if you can hear me. Thickless nickname is Sticking, I guess. Okay, so it's Sticking. It's been a little over a week, but I guess that's my new nickname. As I look through the text line and in previous texts, not even on shows that I'm on, I'm being referred to as Thick Nick, Thickless. I know Jay Foreman loves the nickname, so looks like we're sticking with that. Chase B says, Nick came prepared to take over the captain show this week. Not necessarily, but there's a lot of stuff to talk about because now we're getting into this interesting time frame. Close to the season, we are officially 50 days until the wake up, as VJ would say. 50 days until Nebraska takes on Northwestern in Dublin. Once again, if you had not heard yesterday or kind of just took a time out from listening to us yesterday, mentioned on the happy hour, I'm sure other shows mentioned it throughout the course of last night and today, that Nebraska's sold around 9,000 tickets. Rico, what you got for us? You got anything?
Oh, I was just going to say you need to embrace the Thickless nickname and just start working out and just get huge.
Yeah, that's true. So here we go. Thomas and Lincoln. Here you go, Rico. And Jay Foreman did say I was looking big today in a good way. As Rico gives me a thumbs up, he's out. Thomas and Lincoln, thinking Nicky is ready for the Ireland game so he can get his drink on. Absolutely not. It's going to be a busy day for us on the Ireland game. I'm looking forward to it, though. However, like I said, plenty of stuff to get to. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you. So I want to have that running back discussion. I want to also, Matt Masker, right? A guy that you wouldn't necessarily think maybe garnering preseason headlines, and not a starting job. He did talk to Robin Washut of On3.com, and he had a couple interesting quotes in his article, in his interview, mainly about what this offense is going to look like, or more importantly, that it's just going to look different. And I think that's a welcoming sound for Nebraska fans. Tell me if I'm wrong. Once again, 402-464-5685. If you're just now joining us, no Vershawn, he's on vacation today, all next week. So I'll be hanging out with you guys for the majority of it. We might have some other special hosts throughout the course of next week as well. But want to hear from you guys. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. Feel free to call in. Keep me company on a Friday. Rico will pop in. Who knows? DP might pop in as well. Then you can also hit us up on the video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those good places. If you haven't subscribed to that, make sure you do that, please. I mean, what are we doing? If we listen every day, if we watch every day on the Tickets social media pages, just go ahead and subscribe. You get notifications whenever we go live, all that good stuff. And we make it super easy for you guys to check out the show. You can always hit me up on Twitter, Nick_Sainert as well. So Thomas and Lincoln asked on the text line, did Yant lead Nebraska in rushing yards? And I want to make this clear. So this kind of deep dive that I did into rushing stats, it was more of team totals. What does the team look like now without Sevion Morrison? What are they returning in production? Because I think that's pretty a big question going into this season. Because we know there's a lot of new faces, but let's also be real. Like, they don't have time to just experiment. In the grand scheme of things, we're looking at it with a 5,000-foot view. Nebraska doesn't really have a whole lot of time to really experiment with possible options, if that makes sense. And I've asked this question. I asked this question actually to Erin Sorensen of Hail Varsity, gosh, a couple months ago when we were talking to her on my show. And I just asked her, I asked her, how quick will the Huskers coaching staff be with pulling guys or making substitutions? We always think about, just the starting quarterback specifically, but what about like running backs? What about wide receivers? How quick will Scott Frost or Mark Whipple, for that matter, it sounds like Mark Whipple is going to be the main guy running the offensive ship for Nebraska, which is good news for Husker fans. But how quick do they pull the plug on some guys? How lenient are they with mistakes? Because once again, in the past, now that's all we can go off of right now. In the past, most obvious last year with Jacquez Yant, one mistake, you're out. However, we also saw it was kind of partial to some players because then Adrian Martinez would be able to throw 4 picks and stay into the game for some reason. It was just mind-boggling. I think that's the best descriptive word, best adjective for the situation last year. Now, one guy was also a senior, one guy was a true freshman. But so we'll dive deep into that probably at 11:30 here. Also, going rest throughout the show, Rutger McGroarty, Lincoln, Nebraska native, gets selected with the 14th pick in the NHL draft. We'll talk about that at 11:45. You'll hear a couple of his comments as well. ESPN did a cool thing on him with just a quick little interview. He had said some stuff about the Lincoln Stars in his post game as well. So we'll kind of dive into that. And then I will admit, Mark and I did a deep dive on hockeyreference.com. Never visited hockeyreference.com in my life. However, I did this morning, and we found some interesting things. Not necessarily about Nebraska-born players, just a really interesting story with a group of brothers that had a freaky accident at the same time back in 1956. And you might not think it's interesting, but trust me, when I tell you this story and kind of walk you guys through it, it's going to be kind of fascinating and a little freaky. However, Rutger McGroarty selected 14th overall last night by the Winnipeg Jets. He'll play his college hockey at the University of Michigan. So the NHL does it a little bit differently, where after he's done with college hockey, the NHL team that drafts him still has his rights, unlike Major League Baseball, to where you get drafted out of high school. If you choose to forego the draft pick or forego the Major League Baseball and go to college, then that team has to give up your rights, and then a new team can draft you at the end of your college career. So it's a little different in the NHL. But like I said, only he's the first Nebraska-born player to get drafted since 2013. So I'll give you guys more information on that. Mention more about Matt Masker. Tom Fernelli of CBS Sports ranked the Big Ten coaches in the football world. So I'll let you guys know a little bit more about that because it's a little tricky with Nebraska. Scott Frost, as you can imagine, goes pretty low on that list. But it's tricky with Nebraska, and I want to talk about the national perception of Nebraska and Scott Frost going into this season. So we'll dive into that a little bit. Major League Baseball trade deadline's less than a month away. Who's some guys that can be on the move? Who are buyers, sellers? Husker baseball keeps adding transfers, continues to add transfers. We're still waiting on the decision of Griffin Everett, who's playing some summer ball in California. So we'll talk about Husker baseball and kind of just scholarship situation with Will Bolt and his squad here in the 1 o'clock hour. A little bit of a look into USC, UCLA baseball because they'll be joining the conference here in a couple years. And then we'll also be joined by Steve Sipple of On3.com at 1:30 because he's going to be talking to a couple current Husker football players this afternoon. So we'll get his thoughts on what he heard from those two quarterbacks that he's about to talk to, and he'll have an article about that on On3.com here in the coming days. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys. Don't know if you heard. I want to hear from you guys. How interested are we in this Ice Cube concert? Because it was just announced around an hour ago that Ice Cube, the Yin Yang Twins, I'm forgetting a couple of the other names. I retweeted it. Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Yin Yang Twins will perform at Pinnacle Bank Arena on August 25th. And for you guys, for the listening pleasure of the listeners, I grabbed some songs and sound bites from those guys. So let me know, 402-464-5685. How intrigued are we by Ice Cube on August 25th? I mean, you can hear this song, Gangsta Rap Made Me Do It, at Pinnacle Bank Arena on August 25th.
It's a new law. Keep a hold of your riches. Don't spin it as soon as you get it. And recognize I'm a captain, you a lieutenant. I can say what I want to say, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I call you it.
All right, so once again, Ice Cube headlining an appearance at Pinnacle Bank Arena they're big on the 90s rappers right now. I'm not sure how many people in Lincoln are going to be into this. See, Downtown Scott says, not at all. I'm not really into it, but respect. I don't even like this. It would be fun. Thomas in Lincoln says, not at all interested. Byron, however, on the other hand, says, born in 92, grew up with this music. I'm all in. Because here's one song that I remember from Cypress Hill. I remember listening to this one a little bit. Here's one of I would say one of their more popular songs. Now, that's coming from a guy that was born in 2001. So let me know if I'm wrong, if this is not one of their most popular songs, but this is one that I definitely knew from Cypress Hill.
I'm blinking, I'm thinking it's all over when I go out drinking. Oh, making my mind slow. That's why I don't with the big 4-0, bro. I got to maintain, cause a like me is going insane. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the membrane.
See, here's the problem. So Corey in Lincoln says this. If you went to high school in the 90s like I did, Cube, Bone Thugs, and Cypress Hill are huge. And that song Nick just played is not even a top 20 Ice Cube song. I apologize, Corey. However, is this Cypress Hill? Is this a big one? Yeah, okay, good. He says Insane in the Brain is Cypress Hill's most famous song. Okay, good. And then, I'll be honest, I've never heard of Yin Yang Twins. So this was Rico, you can join in. You big Yin Yang Twins guy? Come on, Rico. I'm about to get destroyed on the text line.
You've never heard of the Yin Yang Twins?
No.
Sir.
So are they pretty popular?
Yes.
Hold on.
They were a massive part of my childhood.
So you knew this song by the Yin Yang Twins?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not saying they're bad. I think they're pretty good.
They're amazing.
Do they still make new music today, Rico?
I don't know. I don't think they do. You ever heard the Whisper song?
No.
Okay.
See, this does not.
But that killer. Shake it like a salt shaker, shake it like a salt shaker, shake it like a salt shaker, shake it like a salt shaker. Yes.
Okay. So Yin Yang Twins is a little more popular than I thought.
They are very popular.
Then why are they the fourth listed band on the or
they're
group?
not. They're just on there. That is a fantastic concert. That might be the first concert I ever go to.
Wow, that's how big of a concert it is.
Yes,
it's actually
this
pretty
is
important.
huge.
Now, if I remember correctly, Alan Jackson comes to Lincoln the day after.
That was popular.
I think more people are probably going to Alan Jackson. You don't think so?
That
we are in Nebraska,
right,
Rico.
No, that foursome right there is going to PBA might not even be around after that one.
Really, it's that big?
That might be. It might get torn down.
Does Ice Cube excite you?
Yes.
See, yeah, Thompson Lincoln says Alan Jackson is better.
No.
Let me know. 402-464-5685.
But that's just my opinion.
What are we doing? Alan Jackson or Ice Cube? Who are the other ones? Cypress Hill,
the Yin Yang Twins,
and Bone Thugs and Harmony.
Bro, Bone Thugs and Harmony too.
I didn't grab a song from there. Can you grab a song from Bone Thugs and Harmony? Thank you. I'm curious. And whatever popular song is from Ice Cube, I guess, because the one that I chose, Rico, was not popular enough. Okay. See, Bubba says, Nick, the foursome is way bigger than Alan Jackson. Byron says Yin Yang Twins were, holy crap, the text line's moving so fast I can't load it up. Byron says the Yin Yang Twins were big mid-2000s. Okay. Andrew says, wow, that's a lineup. Okay, so first of the month is a song from the Bone Thugs, Rico. That says Corey and Lincoln. Corey and Lincoln seems pretty educated on this, so I want to hear about this. Downtown Scott says, Nick, you're way off. It'll be a huge concert. I don't know who Alan Jackson is, but this is potentially bigger than Snoop. Is the weed aspect involved in this with Ice Cube? Like, it's going to be one of those things where the LPD is just like, yeah, listen, we can't do anything about it. Because I genuinely don't know. Tiny Pig says, I'm game, grew up with this music in the 90s. Unnamed Texter says, my first concert when I was 15 years old was Cypress Hill, and Rage Against the Machine opens for them. Levi and Lincoln. He's 43 years old now. This is a crucial concert for me. Wow. President of the Tom Petty Sucks Club. It's exciting to hear Bone Thugs are coming to Lincoln. I've had Wind Blows on repeat for about the last week. They used the chorus from The Chain by Fleetwood Mac. Check it out. I think Wind Blows would probably be about the only one you can pick from Bone Thugs and Harmony and play on the radio. Well, good thing is there's a lot of clean versions on YouTube. Okay, Corey and Lincoln says Cypress Hill is one of the biggest weed rap groups of all time. It was their brand before it was Snoop's brand. Okay, see, that just shows age. So I appreciate the help, Corey. Appreciate it big time. Bubba says at 38 years old, this is a must-go concert. So, all right, Rico, you're in that group. If you're around that time, 1985, 1990, it's in. All right, 1985, 1990, around then, sounds like this is the perfect concert for you. So Pinnacle Bank Arena slowly making their way. What folder is it in, Rico? Captains? Old school? Okay, old school. Let me get to that right one here for you, folks. Old school. There it is. Bone Thugs and Harmony. Right there. All right, here we go. First time I've ever heard this one, because it doesn't sound familiar by looking at the name, so we'll let you know. 402-464-5685.
Boom, 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 boom. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you, when judgment comes for you. What you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you, 'cause it's gonna come for you.
Man, Rico, you were grooving back there, nice and easy,
bro. Come on, man. The Crossroads?
Is this one that Rachel would want to go to?
Yes.
Okay.
God bless you, working on a plan to heaven. Follow the Lord all 24/7 days. God is who we pray, even though the devil's all up in my face, but he keeping me safe and in my place. Say grace to the gates of race, but I change the face of judge, and it blesses my soul with books. Grudge me, there's no mercy but do.
Corey and Lincoln says this song Crossroads was the song of the summer in '96. What were you doing when you were listening to this song, Rico? What are you doing in the driveway?
I was a child.
I know. Sorry.
This is just a song we're cooking out. This song just pops up.
Okay.
It's just chill. It's just chill. I sent another one. It's in old school as well. A better Ice Cube song than what you chose.
Pickle Rick says, I don't understand how anybody has never heard this song.
I know.
Crossroads.
I don't understand you right now.
Here, I think it's this one.
You should know this one.
It was a good day.
You should know this one. Do you know this one?
Yes, yes, I do.
This one.
Yeah. Man, this is getting a lot of people on the text line here to get back. This is a nostalgia segment here.
Just waking up in the morning, gotta thank God. I don't know, but today seems kinda odd. No barking from the dog, no small. And mama cooked the breakfast with no hug.
Not Chicken Eric says, Bone Thugs played at the Bourbon back in 2017 and put on a hell of a concert. All right. So maybe this is a big concert. Rico, should I go to this concert?
Yes.
All right.
I told Rachel doesn't know yet. I said it on the radio. If she's listening, which she probably isn't, we're going to this concert.
All right, I'm in. Can I tag along?
Sure. I got to find somebody to babysit my kids.
You have people. Wow. That's great. This is awesome. Unnamed texter says, this was all booze cruising in my high school days. Oh, well, that's a problem. High school days, nice. Jeez. This is awesome. I know this song. Okay, so, all right, we're okay. We're okay. Maybe we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll just go out to Ice Cube here. But this is awesome. All right. So we'll go ahead and head to break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this conversation, figure out a way to go to this concert. And when we come back, we'll dive into Husker football. 402-464-5685. The Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. It's a Friday. No, Rashawn Jackson is the captain, sponsored by Wingstop. We'll get some more of your requests, get some of them in the system. We'll have some fun today on a Friday, right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
7-11, 7 even back door, little jump. I picked up the cash flow. Then we played bones, and I'm yelling domino. Plus nobody I know.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Pillar Restaurant Group is proud to announce the full opening of our brick-and-mortar venue at home store, Lincoln's new premier specialty grocers. This store is home to our brand new Butchery by Venue. Get the finest Nebraska steaks, hand-cut in-house by our butcher, prepared for our restaurants, and available for you to take home. With hand-selected specialty seafood, charcuterie, wine, bourbon, and liquor options. Come in today to see what we have to offer at 70th and Pioneers in the Pioneer Woods Shopping Center. Open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Saturday.
Beatrice Bakery. They ship cakes all over the country. True story. But take a look inside their shop and you'd have no idea. This is a Nebraska product through and through. Not some massive production plant. Local people making delicious cake just for you. So go see them in their new storefront location in downtown Beatrice. Grab some grandma's fruit cake, some chocolate rum cake, or my favorite, the turtle nut cake. And say hi to Rick and the crew. Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's to days spent roaming and to sleeping beneath the stars, to casting another line and letting time float by. From Shadron State Park to Indian Cave State Park and every recreation area, historical and state park in between. Here's to your adventures, your memories. Here's to going out and enjoying your Nebraska state parks. Plan your next trip today at yournebraskaparks.org. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Captain, sponsored by Wingstop. Visiting their locations here in Lincoln, Pine Lake, Superior, O Street, all those good places. Visit Wingstop, or if you're out in Grand Island, hey, go ahead and head out there as well. No Vershawn Jackson today or next week. Nick Sander with you, 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. All right, so sounds like I was way off on this concert, so I need to publicly apologize. I was way off on this concert. Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, Bone Thugs, and Yin Yang Twins, all big names. All right, so sounds like I need to go to this place. Rico, is Ghetto Cowboy a big song? Can we get that one by chance? Sounds like we need to. A lot of people have said this, so we might need to play that one. Just a real snippet, real quickly. Thomas and Lincoln still on the bus if it's overrated, but I got to go with the majority people here. Thomas, sounds like this is the concert. Tiny Pig says, Nick, this is the concert. Football and baseball pregame songs circa 95 to 98. All right. Sounds good. Looks like I need to look at the tickets. Right now, I think tickets, they said, will go on sale. Okay, so mobile ticket delivery only. The PBA ticket office is open only on Tuesdays from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So can't get tickets till Tuesday, I guess. So a couple days. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how expensive tickets are. Mobile delivery tickets, that's a pet peeve of mine. I'll just say it right now because they got so many fees on there nowadays. It's ridiculous. Once again, 402-464-5685. Rico's getting us Ghetto Cowboy for all you folks out there. I know you guys, a lot of people that have said it want this in there. So we'll play that for you. No problem. No problemo. Andrew says we need to have a 93.7 the ticket pre-party somewhere. I don't know. Not if Rico and I are going to the concert. Pre-party. Once again, you can always hit me up on Twitter, Nick_Sainer. Let us know. Keep sending in songs because, as you guys have found out, I don't know this one. What?
Tell them what you asked.
No, I'm not doing it. Nope, I turned it off. I said something embarrassing during the break in the hallway, and I'm not repeating it on air. There's a reason why. There is a reason why I didn't take that question to the airwaves. And there is a mutual trust here, Rico. Before I turn your mic on, there's a mutual trust that nobody is going to say it on air because there's a specific reason.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But it was really fun.
It was bad.
It's not great.
It's kind of embarrassing. It was pretty embarrassing.
I'm sure it was.
So it is what it is. Unfortunately. Aaron Davis says, Nick, we used to blare Ice Cube in the football locker room at Nebraska. Insane artists. Okay, AD. Sounds like we need to go
is Aaron Davis going?
AD, are you going? Are you going to Ice Cube, Bone Thugs, Yin Yang Twins?
AD, you want to go with me and my wife? You want to come hang out with us?
I'm going. I thought we were all going.
It'll be a blast.
Yeah, a little shindig. All right. 402-464-5685. Rico, is Ghetto Cowboy in the folder? You just walk away. Okay. Just walks away from the. All right, here we go. First time for me ever hearing Ghetto Cowboy. A lot of people requested it. I'm embracing this part. Here we go. Ghetto Cowboy.
You better count your
I like it. All right, I've heard 30 seconds of it and I'm in. Thank you.
Along with some cash, even took the mess done. Now that there's kidnapped, but she was with it, so I brought it. Then got myself into a whole heap of trouble, double crossed by the law, so it's nobody to run to. Yeah, it's just me and my sawed-off shotgun. Outlaw, call them Leatherface.
All right, so I'm in on this concert. I just got to figure out a way to get tickets. If anybody's got the hookup, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter, Nick_Sainer. We're good there. Sounds like I need to get to that concert. That's going to be a good one. Tyler says song hits hard if you have a sub. Okay, I can hear that. Gene and Lincoln, who is that? The dude we were listening to yesterday? No. So Gene, if you're just now joining us, anybody out there, Ice Cube, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Yin Yang Twins, and Cypress Hill, all coming to PBA August 25th, the day after, on August 26th, Alan Jackson. So a complete switch of genres in Lincoln. So downtown, it's going to be kind of interesting. You're going to be driving downtown Lincoln, and one night you're going to be seeing the people going to the Ice Cube concert, and then the following night you're going to be seeing everybody in cowboy boots, cowboy hats, all that good stuff. So it's going to be a complete switch up on genre. Unnamed texter says Bone Thugs lost their street cred after that song. Interesting. Beats says hip hop hogwash. Wow. That's unbelievable. Mouth of the South says I can picture Nick hands in the air and vibing to some Bone Thugs that night. I don't know. Rico's kind of talked me into it. So
would you like to go to an early break and bring in a special guest?
I suppose so. Why not?
I think we can do that.
Absolutely. Let's go to an early break.
A little sip and Jake?
Yeah, a little sip and Jake, and we'll be back with a very special guest right here on the Captain No Vershawn Jackson today. Nick Sander with you the rest of the way.
Football season will be here before you know it, and you can get ahead of everyone else with the first annual Evening with the Huskers event at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill. Join 93.7 The Ticket and Husker Online's Sean Callahan for an evening with current Nebraska football players and surprise guests as they preview the season ahead. Enjoy cocktail hour and a delicious Wagyu steak dinner, as well as an open bar for the duration of the event, all for just $199 per person. Click the logo for the event at theticketfm.com to sign up. Don't delay, this will fill up fast. Don't miss your chance to meet and greet with Husker football players at Tanner's Bar and Grill and Tavern 180 in Lincoln at 30th and Yankee Hill. Sign up today at theticketfm.com using the Evening with the Huskers banner. It's an evening with the Huskers to preview the 2022 Nebraska football season at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Presented by Husker Online and 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
On the block with Strick and Bach.
He obviously played against MJ when he was with the Bulls. Could you tell when you guarded Wizards, MJ, that is different than Bulls?
I mean, he still was crafty. He still was very cerebral, still had great hands. So his post-up game and his mid, all that stuff was still efficient. You know, his actual pump fake game was even more effective. He just didn't have that same first burst.
Weekdays from 4 to 6 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bills, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You joined because you were not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into the Captain 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. No Vershawn Jackson today. Nick Sainert hanging out with you guys. We bring in a couple very special guests. Well, one special guest.
Hey, I'm special. Come on. Give me the
Rico.
respect I deserve.
All right, so once again, Nick Sainert with you. Rico comes in to join us, and the special guest that we teased at the beginning of at the end of the last segment, Husker basketball freshman Ramel Lloyd Jr. Ramel, what's up, man? Welcome to Lincoln. How's it going? First time on the Ticket airwaves?
I'm excited. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, so first of all, just a basic question. You've been in Lincoln about a month. We were talking during the break, right? And if you guys have any texts or questions for Ramel, text us 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Been in Lincoln about a month. How's the transition been coming from California to Lincoln?
It's been great. I mean, it's definitely a transition. California and Lincoln are very different, but I came on a couple of visits before, and it's the place I chose to go, so I already knew what it was going to be, and I've been enjoying it so far.
What's your workout schedule like right now? Because we're starting to hear from a couple of the guys on the roster, whether it's press conferences or just whether it's in articles and things like that. What's a workout schedule for you like nowadays?
Well, really, I mean, it's just working around the schedule we have set. It's summer workouts right now, so it's really been hectic and just a lot of work, and especially, coming in, as a freshman, it's an adjustment period in terms of your body and things like that. So really just trying to get through the workouts we have set, and then just as much as possible, get in the gym by myself.
Are we counting down the days till the season begins yet? Like, I mean, because we're only a couple months away. It's already July. Like,
Yeah.
Are we starting to count down the days till the season begins?
No, not necessarily yet. I feel like this is a great time just to keep getting better and just learn. And I feel like as much time as possible to get to the season I have and just keep working. So I feel like just taking that time will be good and get into the season.
Yeah.
How is everybody on campus? Everybody on the team here yet, or are we still waiting on a couple people?
Pretty much everybody. I believe Keisei is still in Japan
Yeah,
doing his thing,
yeah.
but everybody but Keisei.
How's the bonding? How's the off court, camaraderie going? Are you guys going out, hanging out with each other, going out to eat and all that?
Yeah. Everyone is cool. Everyone's very supportive of each other. We just kind of met, but we always look out for each other, things like that. We got a good mix of younger guys, older guys, so it's a good mix for sure.
Once again, we're hanging out with Ramel Lloyd Jr., new addition to Husker men's basketball, true freshman, played out with Sierra Canyon in California, correct?
Yes.
And just got to Lincoln about a month ago. Once again, you can send in text on the Honda Lincoln hotline, 402-464-5685, or the Sartor Heyman text line. Feel free to call in, text in anything that works for you. You can also comment on our video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. You mentioned guys meshing well, right? And it's the first month. Who's kind of stuck out as a leader? Because there are a couple new faces. Sam Griesel, one of them that's working out with you. I know Emmanuel Bandamel has been a name that's been brought up by coaches and players. Who's been like the biggest leader for you in your first month here?
Yeah, you hit on the nail with, Emmanuel, who's, very vocal, a great leader. He's played and been experienced. Obviously, CJ Wilcher, who's, been here last year and is with those guys, and he's coming in, knowing things already. Of course, Derek Walker, who's been here. So, everyone is chipping in and being leaders. All the older guys, doing their best to be leaders and help as much as possible.
So, like Nick said, you played out in Sierra Canyon, California. So you played in a lot of different arenas, a lot of big arenas. What was your favorite place to play?
For me, it had to be the Phoenix Suns arena. Even though we played at Crypto / Staples Center, which was a great experience as well. The Phoenix Suns arena was just completely packed. Chris Paul was there, a bunch of different guys were there. So it was just pretty fun.
How much do you think that helped you with exposure, playing at a place like Sierra Canyon? Obviously, you had big names on that team with you. Amari Bailey was one of them, I believe. Obviously, Bronny James was another one. And another. It's a nationally respected program in Sierra Canyon. So, like, how much did that help you exposure-wise, finding a place in a Power 5 setting, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it was great. Previously, before I went to Sierra, I was already a national recruit and, was looked at by colleges and things like that. But it definitely took my name just to another level in terms of social media and things like that. So it was great.
So before you came to Nebraska on any type of visits, you get the, phone calls from Fred, you get the offer, the letters, everything. Your first thoughts of Nebraska before you got here, and then your thoughts of Nebraska after you got here.
That's funny. Well, honestly, when the first, contact with Coach Fred, I loved his vision. I loved, how how he talked about what he had planned for me or what things that he felt I can do within his system. I didn't know much about Nebraska at all until I came on my visit, and I came out here, and it was, it was a much better than I expected, honestly, in terms of living and the places and just the facilities and everything like that. So it definitely helped when I came on my visit to make it happen.
Now, obviously, as you know, you paid attention to Nebraska last year after you committed, and even throughout the recruiting process, you were paying attention to Nebraska. Wins haven't necessarily been in abundance around here. What do you think you can bring to this team to change that? Because obviously, you talk about Coach Hoiberg's vision for you. Explain that a little more in depth with a little more detail. What's his vision for you?
Well, I'm a three-level scorer, play on and off the ball, highly competitive. I've been in winning cultures, and honestly, my whole life I've been a winner. So I don't want that to change now. So I'm gonna bring everything I can to the table so we can win as much as possible.
So we're speaking to Ramel Lloyd Jr., freshman point guard here for Nebraska basketball, and Ramel, just give us a little insight into what Husker fans can expect to get from you on the court.
Mainly just a lot of competitiveness, passion. I work very hard and I love the game. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to win and be out there giving it my all at all times. So that's the biggest thing for me.
How much how much did we talk? Me and DP, mostly DP. I was just in the room. Talked to your dad when he came in and dropped you off here at Nebraska. How much did it help you to have a dad who played professionally and went through all of the stuff that you're going through now?
Oh, it was everything. I mean, he was a start of Ramel Lloyd. I mean, he was the first person to train me. He taught me how to do everything from a child to now. So without him, I wouldn't have even got that first foundation of everything I've learned and do up to this point. So he was the start of it.
Are you Rock Jr.?
No. Mel. Most people call me Mel. A lot of his friends and older people call me Lil Rock, but never Rock Jr. I like to call myself the Boulder, though.
Okay.
Boulder,
okay.
Right. I'm like a step above Rock.
There we are. All right.
That's exactly what we needed.
That's what we want.
All right. So once again, we're hanging out with Ramel Lloyd Jr., freshman point guard for Nebraska, also known as the Boulder. Or just
get that started.
Yeah, let's get that started. We can start that right here on the ticket. 402-464-5685. Gerald asked this question: what is the biggest thing that you are worried or nervous about making the jump to college? Now, we were talking in the break, playing in the Phoenix Suns arena and playing at Crypto and on those bigger stages, right? You always hear about guys making the transition to college. It's different shooting in a huge arena like that, but you have some experience. So like, what are a couple things that you're nervous about, or not even necessarily nervous, but just anxious to get out of the way?
That's not necessarily worried or nervous about anything. I put in the work. I work hard and I do everything I can to be prepared at all times. So I would never say necessarily nervous or worried, but, just getting out there and, getting my feet wet, just that first game, that first shot, just getting out the way, and everything from there will be good. So nothing too much though.
This is just a weird one. So the jersey combinations of the jerseys that you've seen Nebraska wear, we're not going to talk about anything in the future, but of the jerseys that they've worn in the past, the red, the white, the traditional ones, the black, the cream ones,
the cream scripts.
Have you seen any of those and thought, I would love to put one of those on?
My favorite one was actually the gray ones they wore at some point
last year.
Yes, the gray and red. I don't know if that was like Black History Month.
That was the Black History Month with the colors on the side. Yeah,
those
that was the
those
Black
are
History
definitely
Month.
my favorite for sure. Probably those and maybe the black ones. I like black, so probably the black ones.
No, okay, so I'm genuinely curious. After Nebraska's season kind of concluded, there was some talk about whether or not we were going to be able to keep you and be a Husker. What ultimately was the biggest reason, or a couple of the bigger reasons, that you still decided to come to Nebraska despite after a disappointing season? Was it faith in Fred Hoiberg? What was the big reason that you decided to stick with Nebraska?
Well, yeah, the speculations were because obviously one of the assistant coaches that recruited me here and was heavy in my recruitment left. But at the end of the day, it was obviously very late in the process. I've been committed to Nebraska. I believe in Coach Hoiberg, and if still the head coach, Coach Hoiberg was still the head coach. So that was what was my final decision. I committed to him previously, and he's still here. So that was good for me.
Do you create goals for yourself? Are you a goal-oriented guy?
Not necessarily.
All right.
I kind of just go full head of steam at things and see where it takes me.
Good stuff, man. All right. That once again, we're hanging out with Ramel Lloyd Jr., 402-464-5685. Appreciate it, Ramel, big time. This was really good, man. We'll definitely hear more from Ramel coming in the coming days. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. The captain, hour number 2, coming up in a couple minutes. Once again, shout out to Ramel Lloyd Jr. on campus for about a month. The Boulder is on campus, ready to roll for Nebraska once the season begins in November. So stick around. Gus says, after listening to this young man, I'll be renewing my season tickets. So how about that, man? Just that quick. Just 10 minutes with Ramel. We got some stuff to look forward to this fall for Nebraska men's basketball. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. Happy Friday. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. On the Block with Strick and Bach.
He obviously played against MJ when he was with the Bulls. Could you tell when you guarded Wizards, MJ, that was different than Bulls?
I mean, he still was crafty. He still was very cerebral, still had great hands. So his post-up game and his mid, all that stuff was still efficient. You know, his actual pump fake game was even more effective. He just didn't have that same first burst.
Weekdays from 4 to 6 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate. Beatrice Bakery. They ship cakes all over the country. True story. But take a look inside their shop and you'd have no idea. This is a Nebraska product through and through. Not some massive production plant. Local people making delicious cake just for you. So go see them in their new storefront location in downtown Beatrice. Grab some grandma's fruit cake, some chocolate rum cake, or my favorite, the turtle nut cake. And say hi to Rick and the crew. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time in practice, and I want to help you stop wasting your time when you're looking for an electrician. High Electric has been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They are experts in everything like remodeling, new additions, hot tub installation, and more. And they take jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at high-electric.com.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Mama, what does the chicken say? Dog. Cat. Giraffe.
Giraffe, really?
Giraffe. You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Oh, got a bunch all alone is Vershawn Jackson. And Vershawn will get it to the 24-yard line.
Coming at you live from the Coppell Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Wingstop. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson.
Ah, yeah!
Welcome back in. Hour number 2 of The Captain on a Friday. It's just not a normal Friday. It's Good Sense Friday. Shout out to the Pillar Restaurant Group for providing our staff with sandwiches every Friday here in the office. Visit any of their Lincoln locations today. Once again, shout out to the Pillar Restaurant Group. Good Sense Friday. Gotta love it. Huge thank you to Ramel Lloyd Jr., freshman point guard for Nebraska men's basketball, for stopping by as well. Make sure, I'm telling you folks, there's something in the air with Husker men's hoops. Whether it's the idea that they hired Adam Howard to be more of a defensive-minded guy, decided to part ways with Matt Abdelmassi, whatever it may be. The freshman class they're bringing in, the transfers, Emmanuel Bandumel from SMU, Ramel Lloyd Jr. from Sierra Canyon, just really bright guys. Really looking forward to watching them play, getting to know them over the next couple of months and hopefully years if they stick around. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that interview. If you did miss any of the Ramel Lloyd Jr. conversation with myself, Rico, or Ramel, also known as the Boulder, he wants that nickname to take off. If you missed any of it, it'll be on the podcast page. You can head back on the stream, which is another reminder. Subscribe. All of our videos will be podcasted there. You can actually watch back the shows, watch the shows over again, or you can just head over to the podcast page, theticketfm.com. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Mouth of the South asks, Nick, who has a better chance, you or Rico, in a game of 21 against the Boulder, Ramel Lloyd Jr.? I have to be honest, I'm a two-handed shooter. I shoot basketballs two-handed. So with that in mind, I haven't seen Rico shoot hoops or anything, but with that in mind, who has a better chance against Ramel in 21, Rico?
Oh, definitely not me. I don't shoot.
So me?
Probably.
All I can do, I can just back down in the paint. That's all I can do. Thickless is Thickless for a reason.
I'm small. I'm not going to back anybody down. I might get lucky on a couple shots. I got a good layup package.
Man.
I can play defense, but again, he is 6'6".
Yeah.
I played defense against my friends that were like 6'1",
And like I could play defense against him. It was tough, but he's 6'6".
So we took a picture. We took a picture after we got done with the thing, and I was like, "All right, get over here, show how short I am." Because I'm
goes,
like 5'10". He's like, "I'm not even one of the tallest."
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
goes, "I'm one of the short ones."
I look up, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, man."
I said, "Sir,
what you talking about, Willis?" What you talking about, Willis? So it sounds like I have the best chance in a game of 21 against the Boulder, but also the best chance is no chance.
The Boulder. He's gonna be so. He said that as a joke, and we're just gonna keep
Here
saying
we go.
it.
The Boulder, Ramel Lloyd Jr.
Ramel the Boulder Lloyd Jr.
So,
as you know, his father, Ramel Rock Lloyd.
He goes, the Boulder's just bigger and better. And I was like, man, come on now,
Yes.
Ramel. Anyway,
I'm cutting that out, and I'm tagging his dad.
Yeah. OG Les Lancaster says, I have a party bus tonight. I'm 33, lost 100 pounds. Well, congratulations there. And now have the drinking tolerance of a toddler. Thoughts and prayers are appreciated.
Oof.
OG, you can't say that you have a party bus and then talk about it with no invite.
Yeah. Where's the invite?
Where's the invite? Can I come on this party bus? I'm 21. I have the drinking tolerance of a toddler. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. So, oh well. Here we go. 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Hour number 2. Hope you guys, if you're on your lunch break, thanks for tuning in. Starter Heyman video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those good places. Chase B says this on the text line. Nick, I asked this question yesterday, but VJ was in the zone and it didn't get read. But if Scott Frost doesn't do well this year and has a bad season and gets fired, is all this recruiting for nothing? That's interesting. Let's dive into that conversation a little bit. We'll go off the road a little bit here. So once again, Chase B asked, is all this recruiting, basically, in a nutshell, is all this recruiting that Nebraska staff is doing for nothing if Scott Frost gets fired? And immediately my reaction, without necessarily diving in to see who guys' primary recruiters are and see what, the 500-mile radius, a lot of these guys are in-state guys. So first off, they have 5 in-state commits right now. 5 of them. 5 of their 13 are from the state of Nebraska. So right away, you would hope that especially the in-state guys, and this may be a problem to say, but you would hope the in-state guys are wanting to come play for Nebraska, right? There's always that preconceived thought that, oh, guys just want to come to Nebraska because it's the home state. They grew up loving the team, and they're going to come and play for the Huskers if they can. So there's that preconceived notion or thought, I suppose. And then second, when we look at the recruits that Nebraska has gotten recently, I do know some of the primary recruiters. Riley Van Poppel, despite him being a trenches guy, his primary recruiter was Brian Applewhite. Brian Applewhite has been using his connections in Texas extremely well. Dylan Rogers is one of those from Cypress, Texas, the linebacker commit that they just got a couple of days ago. Then you look, obviously, at the offensive side of the ball, and I don't need to be the one to tell you, Mickey Joseph is putting in work. Omarion Miller, Jaden Doss, Barry Jackson. I pulled up Barry Jackson's film the other day and also an interview, and Barry Jackson said that Mickey Joseph told him that he sees a little Jamar Chase in him. And if that doesn't excite Husker fans, I don't know what will. So with this thought, and I also think, I don't want to get too far down the discussion of what happens if Scott Frost gets fired, so I want to tread lightly here. But if that is to happen and Nebraska decides to make a change, I think a lot of it rides on who the replacement is as well. And you would hope that the guys that you're bringing in, we would wait and see if the assistants are retained. Like, think about it. That is possible that if assistants are retained. It's also possible that if, like, for example, Lincoln Riley here. All right, let's just do that. Lincoln Riley goes to a new school and brings all of his assistants with him. Let's say they recruited the guys that are committed in Nebraska. If relationships aren't as important as we think they might be to some recruits, and they truly want to play for Nebraska, and if there's an added bonus that, let's say, Lincoln Riley had already recruited them at his previous stop, or ex-coach had already recruited the guys at their previous stop, so they had developed a relationship prior to the new staff coming to Nebraska, I think it's a toss-up. I really do. I think a lot of it relies on the replacement, obviously. Because if you replace your coach in-house wherever you may be, you probably have a better chance of retaining the same staff. You probably have a better chance, a greater chance of retaining the same commitments. And I feel like also Nebraska, just win. Just win. That's the easiest way. I know it's cliche, but that is the easiest way for Nebraska to get the monkey off their back on this national perception that we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. National perception of hot seat conversation. It would be great to walk into a season right now and say, all right, Nebraska, no way they get fewer than 8 wins. But what's it going to take to get to that point? It's going to take wins, unfortunately. And I know that's cliche. I know it's cliche, and I don't like saying those sayings, but man, just need some wins. Need to pile up some wins on it. And I know there's a lot of speculation about who it could be, but like VJ says, and I'm gonna hop on VJ's back and agree with him here. Scott Frost is this coach. And that's probably a good segue into this. So Matt Masker talked to Robin Washut of On3.com the other day. And if you guys check this out on On3, it's one of the newer articles. Once again, Robin Washut wrote it. And Matt Masker, you might be saying, Nick, why talk about Matt Masker? He's not going to be the starting quarterback. He's not in the conversation. Because Matt Masker has an interesting point of view on this whole thing. Matt Masker has a really interesting point of view. And Tyler says, you just hyped up basketball to the max. Keep that same energy for football. Hey, Tyler, just you wait. You ready for this, Tyler? Let me pull up some of the quotes that Matt Masker said. Matt Masker, been with Nebraska football and Scott Frost since 2018. So since the start, he's seen it go from Troy Walters to Matt Lubick, now to Mark Whipple. He's seen Scott Frost run the offense. He's seen Adrian Martinez run the offense. He's seen the ins and outs of Husker football from the quarterback position. Barely played, but he's still here. So here we go. On3 article by Robin Washut. Here's Matt Masker. Quote, he's definitely, on Scott Frost, quote, he's definitely taken a step back. And I think that's been really hard on him. As you know, he's been the offensive guy. I know it's been hard for him to step away, but that's what he agreed to and why he hired Coach Whipple. He agreed to, yeah, this is your show now. Yeah, I'm the head ball coach, but I need to bring in your offense. You need to be in command of it and run it. And Coach Whipple has done that. It's not to say, Robin Washut adds this, it's not to say that Frost isn't involved with the daily goings of Nebraska's new offense. Masker, who has played for Frost since 2018, said his head coach still spends plenty of time with the quarterbacks and oversees things from a big picture perspective. Big picture! Ding, ding, ding! Ding, 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 ding! Ring the bell. Big picture. CEO role. All the things that we said needed to have happen. According to Matt Masker, a guy that, and here's the thing, I would say if it was Casey Thompson speaking this or Chubba Purdy, I would take more of a hesitant approach because it's new guys to the fold, new guys to the program. They were picked by this staff, this offensive coordinator specifically. And of course they're going to say that, right? But Matt Masker's been here since 2018. He's been through the 5-7 seasons. He's been through the saying no to a bowl game, the 4-8 season, then piggybacked by a 3-9 season. He's been in the fold for all 4 years. And this is, so he's seen this part. He adds on, as far as X's and O's installation, Masker said it's been Whipple's show from the start. He added, I'm sure that was the kind of the agreement when Coach Whipple came in. That's why he's here. Coach Whipple has proven to be a very successful coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Coach Frost is still involved, just not as much with X's and O's. Once again, ding, ding, ding. Ring the bell, win a prize. And so far in the offseason, from what we've heard from players, whether in studio here, whether in articles, or Matt Masker, and this is not a slight to Matt Masker, He just hasn't been the starter. He hasn't been in the conversation to be a starter. But give kudos to him because he's stuck around, right? And we're hearing from him that Scott Frost has taken a step back. Now, once again, I'd say I would take a much more hesitant approach if it was Casey Thompson coming in and saying this. But that's where this, and give credit to Masker for kind of being more open about this. And saying that, yeah, my coach has not been involved a whole lot with us specifically, and that's okay. And he admits, once again, this is a really telling and interesting quote for me. It's his first one. From what Masker has seen, a major adjustment from Frost's previous head coaching career is stepping back and turning all the day-to-day operations over to his new offensive coordinator. Quote, he's definitely taken a step back, and I think that's been really hard for him. Going back to like what I've said previously in previous months, is I sit here and I go, the whole thing with Scott Frost, it's never been a question of effort. You look back at these 4 years with Scott Frost, and nobody in any point has said Scott Frost isn't trying. Scott Frost is not trying hard enough. Nobody's ever said that. And if you have, watched the film, understand Scott Frost. Because nobody has ever said or should have said that Scott Frost isn't trying. It hasn't worked, number one, first and foremost. And maybe what Scott Frost tries might not be the brightest thing to do or the right thing to do. But all I'm saying, guys, if you ask Husker Nation at the end of last season, what are some things that needed to change? We were all, and rarely Husker Nation is all on the same page, especially when it comes to football, right? And that's okay. That's what makes the passion in this fan base so great. Is you sat back and you said, here are a couple things that needed to change. Special teams, Scott Frost taking a CEO approach, and quarterback play needs to limit the turnovers. Now, two of those three we won't know until the season. And you could argue probably all three we won't know fully. But in the off season here in July, this is the greatest bit of news that we've gotten from a program standpoint. Matt Masker, the fourth string, fifth string quarterback, fourth string probably. He's probably in front of Richard Torres, the true freshman who's coming off an injury. Matt Masker saying that Scott Frost, after 4 years, has been taking a step back, and it's been really hard on him. As you know, he's been the offensive guy. I know it's been hard for him to step away, but that's what he agreed to and why he hired Coach Whipple. All this is coming to fruition. Now, the part of waiting and seeing if it's going to transition on to the field for success, that we don't know those answers, and we can't find those answers on July 8th. And frankly, we can't find those answers until the middle of the season when we have a reasonable sample size. And so, unfortunately, this is the best thing that we've gotten, but also, fortunately, this is the best thing we've gotten, if that makes sense, because you want more. You want more information. You're just ready to see it. And unfortunately, we're 50 days away. We're 50 days away from August 27th and in Dublin. But gee whiz, folks, if this is true, this whole offense is going to look dramatically different. Dramatically. And you expected it to. You were thinking it was going to when you bring in all this new personnel and all the new coaches. But you can't deny, as a Husker fan and what we have all gone through in the past 4 years, you can't deny that there was a level of doubt, even if you were telling yourself and even though you were high on the Kool-Aid. And that's okay to be. That's okay to be high on the Kool-Aid, drinking gallons of it. It's okay. Because it's the offseason, that's what we do in the offseason. But you can't deny that there was maybe a level of doubt or just a little sliver of doubt of, well, is Scott really going to give it all the way to Mark Whipple? Is he really going to hand over the keys to the car? Sounds like it, according to Matt Masker. Yeah. Here we go. It's time to roll. Gus says this. I think Frost got too involved in trying to develop A-Mart, and that never came to fruition. You know who I'm going to blame, but kudos to Frost to try something completely different. And yes, kudos to Frost, but also, and I mean this in the most polite way possible, it's about time. Like we can't sit here and go, yeah, finally after year 4 on a change that probably should have been made in year 2. But I'm choosing to look at, here we are. We can't do anything about the previous 4 years. What you can do is how you change the day-to-day operations today in present time. And here we go, I guess. It's finally here. But once again, it goes back to what I said in the first hour. They don't have the luxury of time, unfortunately. And so that's why there's so many points. And I'll ask Sip this later at 1:30 when I talk to him. But it's going to be interesting to see how quick this staff, these new guys are, knowing that they don't have the luxury of time. They don't have a luxury of experimenting with certain personnel. How quick are they to pull guys? How quick are they to make changes at quarterback, at offensive line? Like, think about the offensive line and all the question marks now with Newely being ineligible for the 2022 season, when that was one of your certainties this season. Think about all the question marks there. How quick are they to pull a guy or try something new? It's truly fascinating in the position that Nebraska's in right now. 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln Hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. Chase B says, the people who say Scott Frost isn't trying, just watch the clip of him losing his mind at the end of a Wisconsin game. There's a lot of instances that we can point to and say that he's trying, right? And we can prove it. And going back to what Gus said, I think this might be also, if we want to not speculate necessarily, but just a thought that I might have had over the last couple years, in Gus saying, I think Frost got too involved in trying to develop A-Mart. I think part of it is Frost may have just been too obsessed with this whole thing. So much so that it hurt him. That it's hurt him, you could argue. And that's why, going back to Matt Masker's comments, saying he's definitely taken a step back, and I think that's been really hard for him. That second part, hard for him to take a step back, I think it just shows that these last couple years he's been trying so hard to make wholesale changes. And I guess wholesale changes could be whether that's offensive coordinator, whether that's relying on Adrian Martinez for everything, however you want to take that, I guess. Or just his approach that he wants to be hands-on with every single bit of this whole program. Like, I think it's okay that he was trying too hard. But there were times where you could sit back and go, maybe he's too obsessed and that's actually hurt him in the end. I don't know. It's open for discussion. 402-464-5685. A lot of good reaction on the text line. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Here we go. President of the Tom Petty Sex Club. You know, maybe Scott Frost is taking more of a CEO role, but my biggest concern is what happens when there's a minute and 13 seconds left in Nebraska's go-to drive, 60 yards to get into field goal range. Is he going to put his hands back on Whipple's offense? Bingo. President of the Tom Petty Sucks Club. I think that's interesting. And we could even go back farther. What happens when Nebraska has fewer than 20 rushing yards in the second quarter and they're down by a touchdown close to halftime? What happens? What happens when Nebraska's down 10 early in the third quarter, right? In the middle of a Big Ten game in November? Is he going to trust Whipple? That's where this whole thing goes back to. It's just truly fascinating because there's so many unknowns that we're not going to get the answer to until week 3, or not until the end of the season when we can talk to Scott Frost after the Iowa game and go, all right, so who was calling plays for the bulk of the season? And we'll know if anything's truly changed when he sits there and says, well, Mark Whipple, Coach Whipple had it, Coach Whip had it, or if it's the same kind of narrative that it was with Matt Lubick, and it was a little bit of Lubick, a little bit of me. That's when we'll find out. We're probably not gonna find out answers during the season, unfortunately. Just truly fascinating. I think it means a lot coming from Matt Masker more than anyone. And once again, that's not a slight to Matt or anything like that, but I will take it little heavier or a little more serious if it was Matt Masker rather than Casey Thompson, who, once again, no offense to him, just got here a couple months ago and was handpicked by this offensive coordinator. But Matt Masker has an interesting perspective on this, being since 2018 and seeing this thing from the start. So I think it's pretty interesting all the way through. Once again, you can catch that article at on3.com. However, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into this a little bit more. Alexander Great, Hammond Beans, Gus, UNL student Cole, Chase B. We'll get to all your guys' texts coming up in a couple minutes. The captain, Overshawn Jackson. It's a Good Sense Friday. Hope you're enjoying your lunch break on a Friday afternoon, almost to the weekend. We'll be right back on The Captain, sponsored by Wingstop.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Problem gambling is not just a financial issue. It's an emotional problem with financial consequences. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
On the Block with Strick and Bach.
He obviously played against MJ when he was with the Bulls. Could you tell when you guarded Wizards, MJ, that is different than Bulls?
I mean, he still was crafty. He still was very cerebral, still had great hands. So his post-up game and his mid, all that stuff was still efficient. You know, his actual pump fake game was even more effective. He just didn't have that same first burst.
Weekdays from 4 to 6 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Bagels and Joe is in full summer mode. They'll add cold foam to the top of any iced coffee. Plus, they now have a Joe Coffee Club. Get unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per month. And don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money. But like many of you, I spent years paying bills, managing checking accounts, and taking care of my family. So turns out women are pretty good with money after all. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. It's never too late to start, and there's a great website to help you. Check out WeSaySaveIt.org and jumpstart your retirement savings on your budget and your timeline. That's WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Busted. Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. Hour number 2, a little bit into hour number 2, I should say. Captain, sponsored by Wingstop. Nick Sander with you. No VJ today or next week. He's on vacation, taking a much-needed break. Had to get everything situated over here. I had to plug in my laptop, all that good stuff. It was almost dying. Once again, thanks to Ramel Lloyd Jr. for stopping by, getting on the show for a little bit. If you missed any of that conversation, go over to theticketfm.com. The podcast page. It'll be podcasted a little bit later today once we get off the air. Still plenty of stuff to talk about. Just got done talking about Matt Masker, some of his comments on on3.com, and saying that Scott Frost has taken a step back. And we've gotten a little bit of pushback on the text line. Once again, 402-464-5685. Honda Lincoln Hotline, Sutter Heyman text line. Alexander the Great says, all coaches are CEOs. True, but I would question you this. Do you think Scott Frost has taken a CEO approach the last 4 years? I would say no. I think a lot of people would say no. Bill and Bennett adds on the text line, says, with 52 nights and a wake up to go, let's go to Dublin and kick some Wildcat butt. Go Big Red. It's 50 days, Bill and Bennett. And the only reason I know that, I'll be honest here, the only reason I know it's only 50 days, Husker football sent out a graphic today. So 50 days and a wake up. As VJ would say, looking forward to the season as always. All right, we can keep going here on this. The Big Ten coaches rankings. Going to be a quick segment here. Tom Fornelli of CBS Sports ranked the coaches in the Big Ten. And I think I don't even need to open it up to the text line. I think you guys can probably guess where Scott Frost is. Probably towards the bottom, right? How about number 14? Last. Under Mike Loxley at Maryland. So here's what his little write-up is. Tom Fornelli, once again, of CBS Sports, wrote up on Scott Frost. His seat is as hot as it can get, as the Huskers find themselves in desperate need of a successful season. And that might not be as big of a leap as you'd think. While Nebraska finished 3-9 last year, it was a better team than the record indicates, right? We've heard that before. And if their Huskers can tighten up a few areas, special teams, a bowl game should be well within their grasp. Whether that's enough to save Frost's jobs is anybody's guess at this point. So here's what's interesting. From a national perspective, this is the tricky part. They're not going to pay attention to Matt Masker comments. They're not going to pay attention to Nebraska football recruiting and seeing the work that Mickey Joseph's putting in for the future. They don't pay attention to the whole Trev Alberts thing, saying, or restructuring the deal, what it truly means. They're looking at this national writers, and this is something that Nebraska fans will have to not get used to, but be familiar with seeing throughout the course of the season, right? Let's say Nebraska starts out 3-1, or even, God forbid, 0-1. The articles are going to say, oh, is Scott Frost done in Lincoln? If Nebraska starts 0-1, I mean, we're going to be talking about it, obviously. But if Nebraska starts 0-1, is the articles are going to be, can Scott Frost do anything now to save his job? And if Nebraska, let's say, is 3-2 heading into week 6, a story on College Game Day is about to be Scott Frost. How does he save his job from here? What's the next move for Nebraska? Now, is it low-hanging fruit? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's low-hanging fruit. But once again, I would remind you folks that from a national perspective, national writers aren't going to look at Robin Washett's article, unfortunately, and go, oh yeah, Matt Masker, he's been there since 2018. He's seen Scott Frost at its worst, and maybe there's a little more substance to his quotes than it would be from the starting quarterback. And so get ready for a season of national interest on this thing, because as Tom Fornelli wrote, his seat is as hot can get. And we all know that. But me in particular, individually, I think Rico's in the same boat. DP, I don't want to speak for everybody. But this thing is a lot deeper than just on the surface of, look who was 3-9 last year. And that's why I wanted to keep bringing up these angles to where, how quick do guys get pulled? How quick do they make changes? Whether that's at quarterback, what's the recruiting look like? What's the stadiums look like? Because national guys don't worry about that stuff. They just look at the record and go, here we go. It's 3-9. Scott Frost is gone. It's 5-7. Scott Frost is gone. But there's a lot more to it than that, I think, especially when you add in guys like Trev Alberts, when you add in guys like Mickey Joseph, and you add in guys in the personnel of a multitude of transfers. There's a lot more angles to this thing, and it's not so black and white anymore. So it's going to be fascinating to watch. And I know I keep using fascinating, but it's one of the few words that can come to my mind right now when we talk about Nebraska football. Because 50 days away, number one, we'll get to know a lot of answers about Nebraska, I suppose. I'm curious to see what the offense looks like. But also, like, when we talk about the defensive side of the ball, what's that going to look like? How much does Nebraska rely on their veteran linebackers? How much does Northwestern or, I don't know, Michigan, Oklahoma try to throw the ball on an inexperienced secondary of Nebraska compared to a very experienced secondary of Nebraska last year? Defensive line, how do you guys mesh? Offensive line, gee whiz, how do guys mesh, right? No, we have no answers, unfortunately. It's truly fascinating. Here we go. Unnamed texter says this: you guys are taking, and I'll say Nick. Nick, you are taking the Matt Masker comment way too far. Reading absolutely everything out of it that you can when it isn't that deep. I just think it's different. Like, that's what I'm saying is I would understand having that approach to it if it was a new guy, or if it was a guy, if Matt Masker had only been here 2 years, like, I get that. But unnamed texter, I would say this: when before have we ever heard that Scott Frost is not involved in the X and O's installation? Never. So I just think Nebraska's maybe never had an offensive coordinator like Mark Whipple under Scott Frost, right? Never had a running backs coach like Brian Applewhite after Ryan Held. So, unnamed texter says a media person kind of baited that answer out of him. Good point on the installs. Maybe. Once again, if you guys want to read that article, it's Robin Washut on 3.com. I just think, now I'm not trying to say, oh yeah, Matt Masker's saying that we're going to win 11 games this year. I don't think that's it. But it also shows that everybody's kind of on the same page in there to where they knew that a change needed to be made. And not necessarily a coaching change, but just a day-to-day operations change. And it tells us, like Nebraska fans, we've known for a couple years now that the day-to-day operations may have needed to be altered a little bit. And a big part of that is Scott Frost not being involved with the day-to-day operations of the offense, every little nook and cranny of the offense under Scott Frost, especially when he has an offensive coordinator and a quarterback's coach. We could have told you that 2 years ago, right? But that article tells us that Scott Frost has now acknowledged it. Which, once again, something that has not been made known publicly, I should say, or even talked about within the inner workings of the athletic department or the football program, I should say. And he's acknowledged it. People forget, I think Scott Frost is still a pretty young coach, unfortunately. Now, he has a lot of success at UCF, a lot of success as a coordinator at Oregon. But Nebraska kind of blurries and puts a blanket all over of his previous success, and understandably so. But this is this is one of the few times that we've heard Scott Frost acknowledge that he needs to change something publicly and be okay with taking a step back. Even when he's uncomfortable about it. I'm sure it's extremely uncomfortable. Think about the previous years. Scott Frost has not wanted to get out of the way, not wanted to get out of his own way, whether it's the little parts of the offense, whether it's special teams, right? Hasn't wanted to get out of its own way. And now, finally, after 4 years, it sounds like he is. And he acknowledges it, even when it's extremely uncomfortable, and he probably hates it. He hates it. I'm sure he hates it. But the growings of a coach and the growth can be shown by how their actions are, not just their words, right? And Husker fans are so tired of words from Scott Frost that they want to see action. And this offseason, from Masker's comments, there's been action. And not just coaching changes, but actual action that can help the Nebraska Cornhuskers hopefully find some success in 2022. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, NHL draft was last night. We'll put a bow on this Husker football conversation for about 10 minutes. I want to get to this NHL draft stuff. Rucker McGroarty gets selected by the Winnipeg Jets, 14th overall last night. I want to talk about that for a moment. Get you guys some information on the NHL draft, how it works. Some interesting things that I didn't know about the NHL draft. I found out this morning doing a deep dive on hockeyreference.com. So we'll talk about that coming up in a couple minutes. You're listening to The Captain Show. No Vershawn Jackson, Nick Sandert with you on a Friday. We'll be right back on 93.7 The Ticket.
Bagels and Joe is in full summer mode. They'll add cold foam to the top of any iced coffee. Plus, they now have a Joe Coffee Club. Get unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per month. And don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln, and has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Football season will be here before you know it, and you can get ahead of everyone else with the first annual Evening with the Huskers event at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill. Join 93.7 The Ticket and Husker Online's Sean Callahan for an evening with current Nebraska football players and surprise guests as they preview the season ahead. Enjoy cocktail hour and a delicious Wagyu steak dinner, as well as an open bar for the duration of the event, all for just $199 per person. Click the logo for the event at theticketfm.com to sign up. Don't delay, this will fill up fast. Don't miss your chance to meet and greet with Husker football players at Tanner's Bar and Grill and Tavern 180 in Lincoln at 30th and Yankee Hill. Sign up today at theticketfm.com using the Evening with the Huskers banner. It's an evening with the Huskers to preview the 2022 Nebraska football season at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Presented by Husker Online and 93.7 The Ticket.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. The education assistance I received made it possible for me to be the first person in my family to go to school and graduate debt-free. That education helped get me to the first day at my dream job, a job that I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job, plus the other benefits possible from the Army National Guard, helped me become a first-time homeowner. Also, part of my role as a National Guard soldier means I know that I can be one of the first to respond and help my community if disaster ever strikes. I'm extremely proud that I get to serve my community, and that first step I took by joining the Army National Guard has made all the difference in my life. Talk to your local recruiter or visit nationalguard.com to find out what firsts are available to you in the Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Wait till I get my money right.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
And with the 14th pick, the Winnipeg Jets are proud to select from the U.S. National Development Program, Rutger McGroarty.
The celebration is on for Rutger McGroarty. His father, Jim, from Streetsville, Ontario. Oh, great moment there. He was a 50-goal scorer, BCHL, played in the ECHL and WCHL as well. This guy captained the U.S. under-18 team, 35 goals in 54 games. He can flat out score. I think Jets fans are going to love this. Now, he is a University of Michigan commit, though.
An interesting guy. And in the BioSteel game, playing against Logan Cooley, he absolutely ran him over. And I think that speaks to the competitiveness. Here's a guy that he was playing with all season long and had no problem throwing that hit. When it comes to McGroarty, you talked about the skating, you worry about it a little bit. He's working with Barb Underhill to try and improve that area. But you're talking about a guy who wins battles despite that. He thinks the game extremely well. It brings that leadership to the table. Really good around the net. You have to love his hands. And anytime you're a captain of that U.S. under-18 program, that's a difficult task. You have a lot of big personalities in that room. He really embraced that role, took guys aside and let them know what is right and what is wrong.
Rutger McGroarty selected 14th overall by the Winnipeg Jets last night in the NHL draft. You kind of heard the draft call right there. Now, so there's a couple interesting twists or angles on this situation. So we just have a couple minutes in the segment. So that's why I wanted to touch on this before we get going into another Husker football discussion at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. First Nebraska-born player to get drafted since Jake Gensel in 2013. Gensel scored 40 goals and had 44 assists for the Penguins last season. Now get this. If McGroarty surpasses, goes through Michigan, so like they said, he's a Michigan commit. So the NHL does a little bit differently. They hold on to their draft rights while they're in college. So he's going to play at Michigan for a couple years, then head on to the AHL, which is basically the developmental league for the NHL, kind of like AAA or the G League for baseball or basketball, respectively. So get this. If Rutger McGroarty sees time in the NHL, he will be the first player born in Lincoln, Nebraska to do so. So 4 other Nebraska-born hockey players have actually seen time on the ice in the NHL. Like I mentioned, Jake Gensel played for UNO, then drafted by the Penguins. Neil Pionk played for Minnesota Duluth. He was drafted by the Rangers, now currently plays for the Winnipeg Jets. Jed Ortmeyer played for Michigan, drafted by the Rangers, and finished his career in 2012 with the Minnesota Wild. And then going all the way back to 1924, Johnny Matz played for 1 season in 1924, 1925, and he played for the Montreal Canadiens. But all those guys, Jake, Neil, Jed, Johnny, all born in Omaha. So Rutger McGroarty, if he sees time in the NHL here in the next couple years, he will be the first player born in Lincoln to see time in the NHL. So pretty cool story there for Rutger McGroarty. Once again, I mentioned before that Mark and I did a little bit of a deep dive into Hockey Reference while we were looking this up, and we looked at Johnny Matz. So it's a little bit of a roundabout way. I have a funny story to tell you guys. Well, not funny, kind of interesting, intriguing story to tell you guys. So Johnny Matz, born in Omaha, played for the Montreal Canadiens in 1924. He was one of 2 Americans on his team and the second oldest at age 33. The oldest player on that team was Sprague Cleghorn. All right. Now, no connection to Nebraska. Sprague does not have any connection to Nebraska. His nickname was Peg. So Sprague Peg Cleghorn was the captain of the Canadiens in 1924. So doing more research on this guy, Sprague died on July 12th, 1956. Now, Sprague had a brother named Odie who played for 10 years in the NHL. Odie died 2 days later on July 14th, 1956. So the same year. So instantly, Mark and I were like, okay, there's got to be some connection. Why did they die 2 days apart in the same year? 1956, Sprague died July 12th. Odie died July 14th. Now get this. A little bit of a tragedy, okay? So Sprague was hit by a car on his way to work on June 29th, 1956. Okay, get ready for this, Rico. He suffered head injuries and a fractured cervical vertebrae and then died on July 12th. Odie died 2 days later because of heart failure in bed. He was found on July 14th by their sister, get this, 2 hours before Sprague's funeral. And Odie said this quote after Sprague passed away 2 days before. He said, quote, "Sprague was my brother. I don't like to boast, but I've never seen a tougher or better defenseman than Sprague." I'm just saying. What? So Sprague and Odie died 2 days apart. Once again, unfortunately, no connection to Nebraska. But man, you'll never know what you're going to find when you dive deep into hockey. Hockey-reference.com. So in all seriousness, though, big congratulations to Rutger McGroarty, selected 14th overall by the Winnipeg Jets. So he has a chance to be the first Lincoln-born player to see time in the NHL. Once again, here's how it sounded really quickly.
And with the 14th pick, the Winnipeg Jets are proud to select from the U.S. National Development Program, Rutger McGroarty.
So there's Rutger McGroarty. He also spoke to ESPN and then in his postgame. So this is both clips combined. And right after we get this, we'll send it to break and get you on with the rest of the hour. Here's Rutger McGroarty with ESPN moments following him getting drafted by the Winnipeg Jets. And then obviously in his postgame press conference, says a couple cool things about the Lincoln Stars.
You grew up in Nebraska. How would you describe the Nebraska hockey community when you were growing up?
It's awesome. I mean, you got the ice box. Home of the Lincoln. Hey, let's go. Home of the Lincoln Stars. It's a great rink, great atmosphere, and a lot of diehard fans there.
I just like to show that, hey, I'm a kid from Nebraska, non-traditional hockey market, and hopefully someone sees me talking right now and says, hey, I'm from Nebraska, I want to play some hockey. So I feel like I wouldn't say anomaly, I would just say I want to inspire other kids from those non-traditional hockey markets, and yeah, it's really cool.
So once again, Rutger McGroarty is selected by the Winnipeg Jets, 14th overall. Now, there is some news out of the draft today. The Stars had their goalie selected in the 4th round, 128th overall pick just earlier this morning. With the 128th overall pick, the Golden Knights selected goalie Cameron Whitehead from the Lincoln Stars. And then just moments ago, 7 minutes ago, in the 6th round, 173rd overall pick, the Chicago Blackhawks selected Dominic James from the Lincoln Stars. He is also a Michigan commit. So a couple Lincoln Stars players getting drafted today. So congrats to all those guys, but appreciate you guys hanging on for the story. When we come back in the 1 o'clock hour, I mentioned to you guys that I was looking up the running back production. All right. So Nebraska's running back production, how does it compare against other Big Ten West teams specifically? Because we always say this blanket statement of Nebraska not using their running backs. Are they not using them because they choose not to use them, or because they're not finding success? We'll let you know that answer coming up in a couple minutes. You're listening to the Captain Show on a Friday. Nick Standard with you, 402-464-5685. Chime in all show long. We'll be right back on The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is your High School Minute.
With your Southeast Community College High School Minute, I'm Gus Cottle. Norris girls soccer midfielder and soon-to-be senior Reese Borer has committed to play college soccer for Nebraska. As a junior this past season, the midfielder scored 10 goals and passed for 11 assists while helping to lead the Titans to a state championship match. In the American Legion Baseball Senior Division, Nebraska City defeated Auburn 6-0. Hickman defeated PPA Prime 8-4. Clover, Wisconsin defeated Omaha Gross 9-3. Hickman beat Between the Lines 5-0, and Nebraska City defeated Syracuse 10-4. With 10 offers already, Danny Kalin's recruitment shows no sign of slowing down. The Bellevue West 2024 quarterback is one of the state's top prospects already for the class with 10 offers. Kalin plans on making a decision in the winter. This has been your Southeast Community College High School Minute. Learn more today at southeast.edu with locations in Milford, Beatrice, and Lincoln.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Bagels and Joe is in full summer mode. They'll add cold foam to the top of any iced coffee. Plus, they now have a Joe Coffee Club. Get unlimited drip coffee for just $8.95 per month. And don't forget their delicious breakfast burritos and sandwiches. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for His Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Oh, I got a bunch all alone is Vershawn Jackson. And Vershawn will get it to the 24-yard line.
Coming at you live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Presented by Wingstop. Here he is, Vershawn Jackson.
Ah, yeah!
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 of the Captain Show. Nick Sainer hanging out with you guys the entire day today. Happy hour will happen at 2 o'clock. I think we're going to taste test some beer. I think that's the plan. So it's not necessarily a Tuesday, obviously, but we had that conversation a couple weeks ago about ranking your favorite domestic beers. Well, I think today's the day. And Rico and I are going to test it blindly. See if we can get it. So that'll be one of the things that you want to be over on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream for. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those good places. Always hit me up on Twitter, Nick_Sainer. Thanks again to Ramel Lloyd Jr. for stopping by the show today, hanging out with us for about 15, 20 minutes. If you missed any of the show, head over to theticketfm.com in a little bit. We'll have that all podcasted, or you can just go back on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, and watch the show over. A lot of good stuff has been discussed. Like I said, Ramel dropped by. Matt Masker said some things about Scott Frost. Rutger McGroarty got drafted 14th overall by the Winnipeg Jets. Just to put a bow on that conversation, we got a text on the text line from Scott asking, did you guys miss Ethan Price that played for the Stars about 7 years ago? So he was born in Lincoln. However, he did not play in the NHL. So if Rutger gets into the NHL and sees ice time in the NHL specifically, then he'd be the first player to ever be born in Lincoln and play in the NHL. So Price did not make it to the NHL, but he was born in Nebraska or in Lincoln. So that's where that discrepancy or difference lies between those two players. 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Steve Sipple of On3.com will join me in a little bit here at 1:30 or around that time. So before then, I want to talk about the Big Ten running back production. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. 402-464-5685. Keep me company here. Because we always say this blanket statement of Nebraska doesn't feature their running backs. But that led to a question last night as I was sitting there thinking about it. Does Nebraska choose not to feature them? Or do they try to use them and just find zero success? So, taking Adrian Martinez and the quarterbacks out of all this discussion. So with these numbers, strictly running backs. No wide receivers are included in this statistic. No quarterbacks are included in the statistics in these numbers either. So Nebraska, here are their stats. Last year, Nebraska's running backs alone had 186 carries for 1,272 yards and 14 touchdowns. Another angle that I wanted to take away from this research was returning production for Nebraska specifically. So I'll let you know about that here. Sevion Morrison and Marvin Scott III have both moved on since then in the offseason. And those two players accounted for 47 carries, 182 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So Nebraska's returning production is 139 carries for 1,090 yards and 9 touchdowns. Now, once again, this is without Adrian Martinez. This is without Xavier Betts running the football from the little jet sweep thing, all that. So going back to last year, Nebraska, 186 carries for 1,272 yards. That's good for 6.83 yards per carry, which you sit back and go, dang, okay, almost 7 yards per carry from the running backs. Okay, cool. Now, only on 186 carries. So just to kind of put things into perspective, I looked at Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And tonight, over the course of the weekend, what I'll probably do is I'll probably expand on this a little bit more, break into wide receivers as well, kind of see about returning production there. And before I get any farther into this, I understand Nebraska's made changes. They made changes for a reason. I understand that. But right now in July, all you can look at when you're talking about statistics are the previous seasons with the previous staff. And I think this just shows, I wanted this research or this project to kind of show how much Nebraska needs to change to find success. How different does it need to be looking on the field to find success? So with that in mind, Iowa, 402 carries for 1,803 yards, good for an average of 4.48 yards per carry and 8 touchdowns. Once again, just running backs. Tyler Goodson, you may have heard of him, right? Rushed 256 times for 1,151 yards and 6 touchdowns. So one guy getting the bulk of it. And going back to Nebraska, the return production, once again, I'll say this again, 139 carries for 1,090 yards. We're looking for a guy this year to have 1,000+ yards on his own. But in order to have that, you got to have a coaching staff that wants to utilize him or wants to stick with him, right? Wisconsin, 498 carries as a team for 2,728 yards, good for 5.47 yards per carry, and 22 rushing touchdowns from their two-headed monster running backs, Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi. Braylon Allen had 186 carries, 1,268 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Ches Malusi, who's going to be a junior this year, had 173 carries, 815 yards, and 5 rushing touchdowns. Now, with this in mind, like, think about Wisconsin, and I was talking to Sip about this earlier. Thinking about Wisconsin, everyone knows they're going to run the football. Everybody knows. And the fact that one guy is able to have 1,268 yards on his own and another has 815, good for, once again, as a team, 5.47 yards per carry, is just ridiculous. It's mind-boggling how much success these guys have on the ground. Now, one final team, Minnesota. 520 carries as a team, 2,593 rushing yards from the running backs last year for 23 touchdowns. Good for 4.98 yards per carry. And a guy that's going to be returning for another season, Mohamed Ibrahim. Last season, 30 carries, 163 yards, and 2 touchdowns before he got injured in game 1 against Ohio State. And just to put things into perspective once again, Ibrahim had more rushing yards in one game than Gabe Ervin, Sevion Morrison, Marvin Scott, and then a couple other guys, Brody Belt, Cooper Jewett, and Zach Weinmaster, all had all season. And if you want to take the big three there, Gabe Ervin, who obviously got banged up, Sevion Morrison, and Marvin Scott. And so you look back, and once again, I'll reiterate Nebraska's stats here. 186 carries from the running backs, 1,272 yards, good for 6.83 yards per carry and 14 scores. Sevion Morrison and Marvin Scott III have moved on. Those two guys accounted for 47 carries, 182 yards, and 5 touchdowns last year, which, thinking back, you're like, man, I don't remember Marvin Scott or Sevion touching the ball a whole lot. But that just once again goes to show that they switch personnel so often, and they have in years past, that a guy could be out there for 4 carries and you blink and miss it because he's not going to be out there the rest of the game. And so Nebraska's returning production from last year, 139 carries, 1,090 yards, and 9 touchdowns. And that includes Marquise Stepp, who we haven't really heard a whole lot about. And I think there's a reason to that. But once again, we don't know anything publicly. And so you sit here, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts. 402-464-5685. Now, I understand, before I get to any of your texts, I haven't been able to see any of them yet. I see there's quite a few up there. I do understand that if Nebraska carries the ball more, then averages are going to balance out. I get that. Nebraska, if they carry the ball 286 times instead of 186, it's going to be harder to keep that 6.83 yards per carry average that high. And I understand that. But you look at Minnesota or Iowa even. Let's go Iowa, because statistically from these stats, they have the worst rushing attack in terms of yards per carry. 402 carries for 1,803 yards, 4.48 per carry from their running backs. Even that is really impressive when you think about it. Averages are going to balance out. I understand that. But Nebraska, like, there's no excuse. When you look at the statistics, and this is kind of my point, is if last year, if you're the coaching staff and you look at these statistics and see at one point, let's just say one point, it was 130 carries for 999 yards. That's about 4.5 per carry, 5.5 per carry. And we're not running the ball. We choose to ditch the running game in its entirety. And once again, this is without Adrian Martinez. So if you take away Adrian Martinez from the running game, now, once again, I understand averages are going to balance out, but this is just another indictment on the coaching staff that was here last year that they just didn't want to feed the running backs. Right? It's just kind of crazy to think. And so Corey and Lincoln makes a good point here. The biggest stat to me is the number of carries, not the yards. The yards come from the carries. I agree with that. And because you make a really good point, Corey, on how you look at the differential, right? I'll tell you this also, going back and looking at all the sports reference pages, that's where I got all this information from. Nebraska had more guys carry the ball than Iowa, Wisconsin, or Minnesota. Now, is that an indictment of Nebraska not having enough talent to have one guy take the job? Or is that an indictment on this staff not allowing a guy to take the job, not sticking long enough with a guy to take a job? I think you can go both ways. I truly do. But what I found out, this actually surprised me quite a bit. I was shocked that it was this big of a difference between Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, right? Because that's who we always compare ourselves to. Those are the three other teams. So when you sit here and you take the quarterbacks out of it, statistics show that Nebraska didn't really run the ball that poorly last year on 186 carries. They just weren't given the opportunity to run the ball. And now you have Sevion Morrison and Marvin Scott move on. And you say, all right, now we're expecting one guy out of that same room, right? One guy, whether that's Jacques Yant, whether it's Marquise Stepp, if we get to hear from him, whether it's Gabe Ervin, to do the total of what everybody on the staff did last year, if that makes sense, in that running back room. Because once again, I'll reiterate it. The returning production is 139 carries for 1,090 yards. That's it. And we're expecting one guy to go over 1,000 or reach close. So then that goes back to that question once again. Is it the guy that, is he going to be able to get that, like to have that kind of production or that kind of weight put on him? Or is the staff going to let him have that kind of weight put on him? Is he going to let a guy carry the rock 30 times in the game, 25 times in the game? We've heard it on the air. Jacques Yant wants it. That's only part one, though. Part two has got to come from the coaching staff allowing him. And I think that's been a big disconnect. Because you go back to Dedrick Mills, and this is, I want, seriously, this weekend, I'm going back to like that 2019 season with Dedrick Mills. Obviously, it's a little different because of the COVID year. But you sit here and go, all right, you think back to Dedrick Mills and the many times that Nebraska fans were sitting there watching a game like, dang, Dedrick Mills has 50 yards on a couple carries, but we haven't seen him for a quarter. We haven't seen him. And you're putting Wan'Dale Robinson in first and goal. Like, it's just, it's so confusing. It has been. Now, like I prefaced, they've made changes. They've made much needed changes. And with a guy like Brian Applewhite Let's hope they give a rock to somebody. Let's just give to somebody, one or two guys. Grant, we're getting a lot of Grant and Yance on the text line. I hope so. And even if it's not, heck, if it's Emmett Johnson, the freshman out of Minnesota, then I don't care, man. Get a guy and stick with a guy. That's truly how I feel. I'm not trying to tell Nebraska to have Wisconsin's Braylon Allen and Ches Malusi. I don't think you need the guys to that extent or to produce at that extent to find success. I truly don't. You don't need a guy to go for 1,268 yards and another guy to go for 815. But how do we sit here and assess this running back room when the returning production is 139 carries in 1 year? Question marks? Uncertainty? I think that's all fair. I think this sheds a huge light, though, once again, on how much this needs to look different this year, right? And how much change. Like, let's say this. At the end of the season, if we're looking back and Anthony Grant has a 1,000-yard season, and I'll obviously keep this running back production chart from 2021 in my computer, and I hope I'm speaking to you guys in December saying, look at this. Nebraska returned at the beginning of this year 1,090 yards on 139 carries as a team in the running back room. And they scored 9 touchdowns as a running back room together last season in 2021. And I hope I'm sitting to you guys, or I'm talking to you guys, whatever time it may be throughout the day in December, saying, look what Anthony Grant did. 1,100 yards on 350 carries. Maybe the yards per carry isn't great. It's not. Maybe the yards per carry is less than 5. I don't care. I don't think any Husker fan cares. It's more of just how it looks, whether it's on paper or on Saturdays in the fall. I think Nebraska fans are just kind of fed up with. I know I am. Are just kind of fed up with Jaquez Yant getting the rock for 3 straight plays on a drive, getting a couple first downs, and then not seeing him for another 2 quarters. And understandably so, because if Nebraska was winning, you would have no question about it. But you just haven't been. So that's when all the questions arise on, is this really the best way to go about this thing? And when the statistics show that Nebraska had, I mean, I can just do quick math here. Shout out to my calculator on my phone. Nebraska had 216 fewer carries than Iowa. Nebraska had 312 fewer carries from Wisconsin. And Nebraska had 334 fewer carries than Minnesota. And what did all 3 of those teams have that you didn't? Wins. 1,000-yard rushers. Or close to it. Like it just shows that in the Big Ten, we have seen on paper and we've seen in other games, we know what works. We see what works. How do you find success? And it's running the football. But you got to give your guys an opportunity to run the football so that you can run the football. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Let's get to some of your texts here before we get to Steve Sipple of On3.com. Bot Tanner's Tiller says this, not currently, no, we do not use our running backs. Just 6 years ago, we had 3 of our rosters go to the NFL. Roy Halou Jr., Rex Burkhead, Amir Abdullah. Man, what a time. What a time. Seattle Joe says this. Yeah, that's nice, Rico. That's nice. Yeah, Rico's over there. Woo. Seattle Joe says this. You almost have to wonder if Scott made a promise to Adrian that he was going to turn them into a superstar, and maybe that's why he rode on him so hard and counted on him so much. And that's just one of the things also that I would like to point out is Adrian ran a lot. And that's why exactly I did not want to bring Adrian into this discussion, but Seattle Joe, you're absolutely right. And that's a very valid point is I wanted Adrian out of this discussion because Nebraska's got to move on without Adrian and without Adrian relying on Adrian to scramble, whether it was a good idea to scramble at the time or a bad idea. They got to rely on life without Adrian now. And it's just going to be interesting to see how it looks. Brad says this, and you factor in putting the ball in the hands of a guy who made frequent big mistakes further makes you wonder why they didn't feed the running backs. Bingo. Play calling will help, being balanced will help our running game, right? And that's why I led first. That's why I talked about the Matt Masker comments first, is so that could kind of get into your guys' your back of your brains a little bit, is because if you put that into account, then you're kind of cooking with something there. Somebody says, good grief, get a fullback again. I agree. Get the big dog to run 20 times a game. I agree, Gus. Let's see. We got a question with what was Pitt's running stats last year. I will let you guys know about that. I'll do that during the break here. And then unnamed texter laughed at one of the quotes that I had. You got to give your running backs the chance to run the ball for a chance. Yep, absolutely. You gotta give your guys a chance to run the ball. Like, you can't expect them to run the ball if you don't put the ball in their hands. Gee whiz. All right, let's go and get to break. Talk to Steve Sipple of On3.com. Coming up in a couple minutes, we'll talk about this running back production stuff. We'll talk about Matt Masker's comments and more. Whatever's on the mind of Stephen M. Sipple. We'll talk to him in a couple minutes. Stick with us.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batsterats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention.
Football season will be here before you know it, and you can get ahead of everyone else with the first annual Evening with the Huskers event at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill. Join 93.7 The Ticket and Husker Online's Sean Callahan for an evening with current Nebraska football players and surprise guests as they preview the season ahead. Enjoy cocktail hour and a delicious Wagyu steak dinner, as well as an open bar for the duration of the event, all for just $199 per person. Click the logo for the event at theticketfm.com to sign up. Don't delay, this will fill up fast. Don't miss your chance to meet and greet with Husker football players at Tanner's Bar and Grill and Tavern 180 in Lincoln at 30th and Yankee Hill. Sign up today at theticketfm.com using the Evening with the Huskers banner. It's an evening with the Huskers to preview the 2022 Nebraska football season at Tavern 180 and Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Presented by Husker Online and 93.7 The Ticket.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Please enjoy these next few moments of relaxation from Scott and Greg at Mendoza Family Insurance. If you would like to feel this relaxed about your home, auto, business, life, or commercial property insurance, Please give Scott or Greg a call today at Mendoza Family Insurance.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, back here on the Captain Show. No Vershawn Jackson today or next week. So Nick Sainer with you, riding solo. It's like the Jason Derulo song, Rico. Riding solo. I know that one. Jason Derulo speaks to my age. I wonder if, let's go ahead and bring in Steve Sipple of On3.com. First of all, hello, Sipple.
Hello, Stainer. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Have you gotten your Good Sense sandwich yet?
No, I haven't. I've been working.
I know. You said you were busy.
I'm getting into my truck now. I might head that way. Maybe, later this afternoon.
Okay. Well, I hope I see you. Do you know who Jason Derulo is?
Jason DeRusso?
Nope. Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. No, is that like a boy band singer?
It is
a single person.
It is not
a boy band.
It is not a boy band. It is a singer. You should look him up. Just when we get off the phone here, and when you're in your little fancy truck,
You don't have to do it.
you should look up Jason Derulo.
Jason Derulo. Okay, I will.
Derulo.
I'm sorry. Can you spell that again?
Derulo.
Derulo.
Yep.
Okay, I will.
Do you need me to spell Jason for you?
Why are you that way?
Sipple. Have you heard of the new concert that's coming to PBA?
I'm sitting right outside of PBA right now. No, but what is it? What is it?
Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, Yin Yang Twins, and
Bone
Thugs and Harmony.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh man, I've heard of 3 of those.
Who haven't you heard of?
Same again.
Ice Cube, Cypress Hill, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Yin Yang Twins.
Yeah, Yin Yang Twins is the one I never heard of.
Okay, that's fine.
Me neither, Sip. All right, cool. We're on the same page.
I'm disappointed in both of you, but it's fine.
Pinnacle Bank, they're playing. When is that?
August 25th.
Yep.
Oh, so we're a ways away from that. Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to go with me?
I doubt it. I think I'll be. What will I be doing? I'll be.
You'll be in Ireland.
Oh yeah, you'll be in Ireland.
Yeah, you got
Never mind.
it. Yeah, it's
I'll send you videos.
I will be in Dublin on August 25th for sure.
I'll send you videos.
I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Thank you, Rico. All right, so actually you'll be in Dublin. We're talking to Steve Sipple of On3.com here on the Captain, but with Nick Sainer. So you said you'd be in Dublin, and Nebraska sold around 9,000 tickets. What was your reaction to that? Were you surprised? Is the number higher than you thought, lower than you thought? What was our reaction to that?
About what I thought.
Okay.
I didn't have a big reaction because, and truthfully, Nick, I'd kind of heard what was going on. So I guess if you look at the numbers, maybe a little lower than I would expect. 9,000 Nebraska fans have bought tickets. 3,000 Northwestern fans. I don't know though. There's a lot of complications, right? I mean, since that game originally was formed, a lot has transpired in this world, and maybe we shouldn't. We shouldn't expect a full stadium, even though it only seats that stadium only seats 47,000 and change. I would hope that it could get to about 40. It'd be nice. But you know how it is. Nebraska fans will be very loud there. It'll seem like there's a ton of Nebraska fans. I think it'll be a good scene. I think it could be a great scene.
Okay, so I feel like I was talking about this yesterday on my show that I feel like some of the sparkle or the luster of playing in Ireland has kind of rubbed off because Nebraska has had to wait a couple extra years to actually play the game after it was announced, however many years it was ago. Do you see them possibly renewing or playing in Ireland again a couple years from now with maybe a better opponent?
It's a good question. I haven't heard anything that would suggest that that's in the works. Nothing. I haven't heard that. I guess it would depend somewhat. And I imagine the Aer Lingus people haven't even looked. Maybe they have looked into the future on that. I don't think Nebraska. I think one time might be enough. Not that it's. I don't want to sound negative on that because I think it's a great experience, but I think it's a one-off for a program. So much goes into it, and let's face it. I don't think we need to beat around the bush. This is not a great time for Nebraska to do it, just because of the nature of the season. Right? They need to win. They need to win the game. I mean, this isn't. It's not low pressure, right?
Yeah,
it's high pressure. It's not high pressure for Northwestern, but it's high pressure for Nebraska. They need to win the game. And it's interesting now when you talk to the guys, I'll tell you what, I mean, they're going there on business.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Nick Henrich and Ramir Johnson put on sort of a diplomatic front yesterday on that Zoom call. If you talk to those guys, in a more private setting or just one-on-one, it's very unvarnished. They're always like, and I've talked to 7 or 8 guys about it, and generally it's if you say business or fun, business. This is no. I think it was Nick Henrich said, I just wish we were, I just prefer to go to the hotel, go to practice, go to hotel, go to practice. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So that's the way they look at it. Most of them anyway.
Yeah, we're joined by Steve Sipple of On3.com. All right, let's move on to a little bit more of a current discussion that I was just having a couple minutes ago with the listeners. Matt Masker talked to Robin Washut yesterday. He had an article on On3.com about how Scott Frost has kind of stepped back, and it's been tough on Coach Frost. I mean, what was your reaction? What were your thoughts to Masker's comments, knowing that he's a guy that's been here since 2018? He knows he's seen this thing at its worst, and now seeing it this offseason. You put a little more weight into what he says rather than if a newcomer was to say that. Or am I off on that?
No, you're not off. I think it's really interesting. It has, that article has generated a lot of discussion, as it should, because it was the most, those were the most definitive comments about Frost sort of evolving role, right? Not sort of. Frost has an evolving role. We hadn't heard anything that definitive, and Matt just kind of laid it out. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of odd in a way that where so much attention is being given to a fifth-string quarterback analysis. On the other hand, it's a veteran quarterback in a collegiate sense. And if you've ever met Matt, you're talking to a definitely a young adult. This isn't a kid. And he verbalized it very well. And by the way, what he said makes sense in my mind, because I do know Scott. I don't know Whipple. I don't pretend to know Whipple. I know Whipple on a very superficial level. I know Scott on a much more than superficial level. And I'm not surprised that this is a challenge for him to step away. The best way I can put it, Nick, is that Frost is a get your hands dirty coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a guy that he wants to be in the bunker, and so when you pull him out of there, I think it is a little unnatural. I've thought that from the start, from the time that conversation cropped up. I thought, oh, that's not going to be easy for Scott. That's not his personality. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's a challenge for him.
All right, Sip. So I kind of mentioned this when you and I were talking in person earlier this morning. This is the last one before we'll have to let you go. I was doing the little spreadsheet on running back production. Okay, so here's what I kind of found, just to remind the listeners if they're just now joining us. Nebraska's running back room as a whole had only 186 carries last year compared to Iowa, who had 402, Wisconsin, who had 498, and Minnesota, who had 520. What does that tell you about Nebraska? I mean, they averaged, in terms of yards per carry, they were higher than all those teams, but obviously averages will balance out the more carries you have and the fewer yardage that you gain. So what does Nebraska need to do? Do they need to establish a running game, or what do we think this offense is going to look like this year after hearing those numbers?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I just sat down. I was just talking to Gabe Irvin before we jumped on.
Okay.
Gabe is convinced they're going to use a running backs. And I hope that number 186, you said, I hope it goes way up. And I think it will. I think that they're going to use the conventional running game. And it'll be situational, though. You always have to build that into this conversation, right, Nick? If they're playing from behind all the time, then the ratios, it's going to be affected. There'll be more passing. What if Nebraska's playing ahead a lot, though? And and they go under center and they run downhill. I mean, Gabe said, we're going to run downhill. Now, when you talk to these guys, they got to be careful. You got to be careful because they don't want to. It's a new offense. They don't want to give it away, but they're going to be under center a fair share of the time. I don't know what the percentage is. It's hard to say, but there's no doubt they're going to be under center and they want to run downhill, and they got the running backs to do it. So I always hear these people, a lot of like media, they throw out these percentages. What do you think it's going to be? What's the run pass ratio going to be? Man, I see people saying 60% pass, 40% run. I hope the hell it's not that. I think, and I say that not because I'm an old guy. I say that because I think they got good running backs here. And I think they got an offensive line whose personality is more run oriented. I hope it's 60-40 run pass, but I don't know. I think that the bottom line is in Whipple's offense, you can make it work either way. So I think they'll be fine. The bottom line is it seems to me like they have some pretty good personnel over there right now.
I guess I want to get your opinion on this before we let you go. Sorry, I know you're a busy
I'm not
man.
I'm fine.
But when you look at this staff and the program from like the 50,000 foot view, and they don't have the luxury of time this year, right? Obviously, the pressure is high. It's a hot seat for Scott Frost. How quick do you think this staff will be on making personnel changes within a game if a guy messes up, or like, God forbid, they need to make a quarterback change? Like, how quick do you think they'll pull the plug on some guys at certain positions this season with the luxury of time just not on their side?
You know what? That's a great question, Nick, and it's not one I've pondered. It'll depend on the position. They are like at running back. If you just go to running back,
they're deep.
They're deep there.
Yeah.
If a guy's not getting it done, he won't have a long leash. It's a funny position though, too. I mean, Gabe Irvin is a rhythm running back. He needs a little time to get that big body going. And so, I don't know. How's that going to look? I don't know. Will he be the number one guy? I think he's got a shot. He's the kind of guy that needs to get a little bit of a rhythm. At receiver, you have some options to replace a guy who's not playing well. So the good news is a lot of those skill positions you have options. You don't really have that at tight end. I mean, you just need Vokalek out there and playing well. If he's not, what I'm saying is Vokalek would have a long leash. I don't think a starting running back at Nebraska right now would have a long leash. Now at quarterback, that's a good one now. I mean, hey, how long a leash would Casey have? I don't know. I think they got three guys that are capable of starting. The top two are pretty defined, Casey and Chubba, but the real question is how long is Casey's leash?
Yeah, it's fascinating, especially at that quarterback position, because we've seen, obviously, Scott Frost kind of hitch his wagon to Adrian in years past.
Yeah.
But if Mark Whipple truly has the reins and the key to the entire offense, it's going to be a different kind of situation. So it's going to be really fascinating to watch. All right, Sip, appreciate you hanging out with me. Go do your work and listen to Jason Derulo on the way home or whatever.
All right, you and Rico are doing good. Hold down the fort. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, good. I hope I see you for your Good Sense sandwich. If it's not gone by 3 p.m. and the happy hour is done, I am going to take it home.
I might be there in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I might just 10 minutes.
All right, cool. Well, we'll see you soon. That was Steve Sipple of On3.com. Appreciate him hanging out. Really fascinating stuff with Gabe Ervin. Yeah, I think a lot of people might be forgetting about Gabe Ervin. It's all this Grant and Yant, which is totally fine. But Sip said it. Urban's a guy that kind of needs to get into a rhythm to get going. We saw that last year also when he didn't really take the reins of the job until Oklahoma, and then he got banged up in Oklahoma. So we saw Gabe Ervin really kind of play better against Buffalo, but it's like, how much do you take away from Buffalo? That's kind of the situation this year for Nebraska. They play Northwestern. Northwestern's win over under for win totals this year, 4.5. How much stock do you put in against a Northwestern win, then followed up by a Georgia Southern and North Dakota game? How much stock do you put in it? Let us know. 402-464-5685. We'll round out the captain on the other side here and then get you on to happy hour with Rico and myself. It's going to be a good one. Friday, we roll on the ticket. Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
Can I go to the sleepover?
If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Sponsored by DHHS and aired in cooperation with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is the equal opportunity employer.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Areas of fog will be a possibility this morning. Then by this afternoon, a few pop-up showers can't be ruled out. We'll top out near 86, a light north-northeast wind at around 10. Tonight, areas of fog will once again be possible with a low of 67. And for the start of the weekend, we'll be looking at highs tomorrow back into the upper 80s. Should be well into the 90s by Sunday. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020, and Lincoln Choice Awards voted us as the 2021 top independent auto repair center. Call us at 402-488-8934 for superior service bumper to bumper. Mention this ad and get 7% off. Doesn't get any better than that. Rico for his Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it's been a great start here to the year as 2022 new inventory continues to roll in. Our pre-owned lot remains full, and we are selling at a record pace. I was just down at Koppel talking about a new order for myself, and they let me know I can actually start ordering a 2023 here later this spring. So stop on in to get your new 2022, your pre-owned vehicle, or maybe talk about ordering here for 2023. Check them out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
These days, there are more reasons than ever to treat yourself to a great haircut at Great Clips with the online check-in app. So tell us, why do you check in?
I check in because I'm tired of hat hair. I check in because we all need a cut.
I check in so I can feel like me.
And I check in so I look good for you.
No matter why you check in, you'll check out with a great haircut and save time with our online check-in app. Great Clips. It's going to be great.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Back with Vershawn Jackson, sponsored by Wingstop on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, what's up? We're back. 93.7 The Ticket. Captain Show, no Vershawn today. Thanks you guys for hanging out with me all 3 hours. I'm not going anywhere. Rico will join me here in a couple minutes. Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line, 402-464-5685. Both those will continue to be open. Just to kind of give you an inside look of what we're going to talk about here. So the conference realignment stuff has gotten so big that Bovada and other betting sites are putting odds out on who is going to be the next school to accept an invitation from the Big Ten or the SEC. They're both here. So here's the thing. there's some stipulations. Must accept the invitation in 2022 for the action. If no listed team accepts an invitation, all wagers will be settled, no action. So you can go and bet on the next team to join the conferences. So I don't have enough time, unfortunately. I already got to hit the out because we're going to be running late. But I unfortunately don't have enough time to tell you guys the odds right now. But we have about a 5-minute break, a little bit less, 4-minute break or so, 4.5 minutes. And Rico and I will be on the other side of this hour to give that information to you guys. Who should you go and bet on? We're going to tell you, and then I want you guys to do the exact opposite because we are going to be wrong. So once again, Bovada has sent out odds for the next team or next programs, universities, to join the Big Ten and SEC. And there's quite a few schools. So we'll dive into that in the coming moments. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Happy hour will be next, but that'll do it for the Captain Show, sponsored by Wingstop. Thanks to Sipple. Thanks for you guys for hanging out with me, keeping me company. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. It's a Friday. We keep rolling on 93.7 The Ticket. Stick with us.
Hey, sports fans. Rico here with HIS Auto Care 70th and Van Dorn. Carfax recently awarded us as a top-rated auto service center for 2020